What's going on, everybody? C4 here, and today we're going to be breaking down the top 10 worst ratings for Madden 19. We talked about earlier today the top 5 quarterbacks because that was an official article released by EA today. But a user named RecapWiz, who get it on Twitter and then posted it on Reddit, and then the bigger guy stole it from him and didn't give him credit or get whatever. I'm not getting involved with that, but shout out, full credit to him. He was able to basically, I don't know, mine it, but he got the information and he provided the information. So I'm not gonna look. And this was a really popular video last year where I talked about the top 10 bullshit ratings, and we're gonna do it again. Now, last year I was pretty angry. This year I'm taking a different approach because ultimately it doesn't really matter. Like, this shouldn't make it a make or break scenario for you to buy the game or not. You can just modify the ratings so however you want to do it. You can download a community roster. Hey, your boy C4 is going to make one on Xbox and PC at a later date. Really early. Like within the first week of the game, you're going to have my own custom roster that I'll keep modifying throughout the year. Just go download that, and then the ratings will be fine. They'll be in the eyes of the beholder, the Madden god, the franchise god himself, myself. But we're still going to go through the top 10 ratings. Enough of me rambling. Let's get into it. Number 10. We're starting with the Dallas Cowboys, obviously, because there's the meme on Reddit, on YouTube, on everything, Twitter, that the Madden Cowboys ratings guys always really buy. So I'm going to start out by saying it's not that bad this year. I'm going to say for the most part, it looks pretty good. But we have two Dallas Cowboys we're going to talk about on this list, and we're starting at number 10 with Tyron Smith because he got a 95 overall. Tyron Smith had a down year last year. Pro Football Focus heavily weighs on these ratings. You can see it throughout the season, especially. Like, most of the ratings makes it. Like, if someone got an 88 on Pro Football Focus, they have an 88 rating in Madden more often than not. So Tyron Smith wasn't even, he might have been like a fringe top 10 tackle according to Pro Football Focus last year. Yet he gets a 95, whereas someone that was the best, one of the best tackles, a top 3 tackle, for example, because it's the Eagles, Lane Johnson got a 91. There's not a 4-point difference based upon last season for Tyron Smith to be 4 points ahead of Lane Johnson. There's just no way to justify that. So that's starting with the negative for the Dallas Cowboys. And if it's reputation based, sure, but there's a lot of contradictions here. Some of these ratings you could say maybe if they're reputation based, yeah, Tyron Smith is an elite tackle. Yeah, you can justify a 95, but there's some other ratings that was like, well, this guy had one good year and got that rating. So clearly they're basing it off of last season. Tyron Smith, last season, not a 95. Go to number 9. It's a little bit of a twofer here because we're talking about the Eagles and bad ratings on the Eagles. First up, not the official number 9 spot, but we got to talk about it. Malcolm Jenkins is a 94 overall. The Eagles have the highest overall rated roster. They're the best team to use. Malcolm Jenkins is the best player on the best team. For anyone that watched the Eagles last year, Malcolm Jenkins had his worst year as a Philadelphia Eagle, without a doubt. He looked a little bit slower. He gave up way more big plays than we're expected to, and he just wasn't. It was his worst year as an Eagle. He didn't get the turnovers. He didn't get the kind of production he usually gets. While understanding he was a Swiss Army knife, did a lot of things. We wouldn't have won the Super Bowl without him. He played safety, he played nickel corner, he played linebacker. And really, once CARSON Wentz went down, we had to, everyone else had to step up. He absolutely did. He was outstanding throughout the playoffs. But for the regular season, Malcolm Jenkins, he probably should have been like an 86, 87 overall at the most. A 94 to represent the best team and be the best player. More so than Fletcher Cox, Carson Wentz, Lane Johnson, Jason Kelsey. You can even throw, Brandon Graham. Like I said, Fletcher Cox. Like, those guys should be higher than Malcolm Jenkins. Yet Malcolm Jenkins is a 94. Now, I'm not going to overly complain. I'll take it. But that's pretty ridiculous. But the worst one on the Eagles with the bad ratings is Michael Bennett, who we traded peanuts to the Seattle Seahawks to acquire. He is an 88 overall. Now, he has not played at an elite level for probably the last 2 years. He hasn't graded out exceptionally well from Pro Football Focus. It's not like he bolsters like an outstanding PFF rating that he gets the 88 now. His production hasn't been that great. He's getting up there in age. What about Michael Bennett gets an 88? I think Michael Bennett should be like 82 to 84 in that range, no higher. And remember that 88 for Michael Bennett when we talk about the number 2 rated player, because it makes it look even that much worse. So, Michael Bennett, reputation-based, yeah, he could get an 88. It's not the case for a lot of ratings, so I don't really know where they're going here. Go to number 8, Stephon Diggs of the Minnesota Vikings. Stephon Diggs got a 90 overall. He did not break 1,000 yards. There are wide receivers that broke 1,000 yards, got double-digit touchdowns that don't have as good of a rating as Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs had one big play in the playoffs. That's why he has the 90. Stephon Diggs wasn't even the best wide receiver on the Vikings last year. That was Adam Thielen. I had Diggs as a fantasy football player. I would watch more Minnesota Viking games and I just flick them because I want to see how Stephon Diggs, and constantly, game after game after game, Thielen was the better receiver. He was the more productive receiver. And it wasn't a lot of like, oh, well, because they have so many people double and triple teaming Diggs, that's why Thielen can. No, Diggs did not look good for lots of periods last season. He's still a really good wide receiver. I'm a fan. He is my greatest draft sleeper call of all time when he was coming out of Maryland. I said Stephon Diggs is going to go late rounds, and he's going to be a franchise receiver for someone. He did that. I'm a fan. There is no way for this year that you switch those. Diggs at 88 or 87, Thielen in 89, 90. There's no way that Diggs should be higher rated than Adam Thielen. Going to number 7, Cam Newton, because he got swag, is an 88 overall. That's one of the worst ones. This probably should be a little bit higher. 88 for Cam Newton. What about Cam Newton last year says he should be the 6th highest rated quarterback in Madden? Cam Newton was terribly average. He cost his team games last season. Yes, you could say the offensive line wasn't that great. Yes, you could say the weapons around him weren't that great. But at the end of the day, Cam Newton cost them games. He cost them against the Eagles because he had to throw the ball 60 times. So sometimes you have to do that, and he can't make those throws. As the game goes on, his arm fatigues, his accuracy drops. There's nothing about Cam Newton that says 88 based off of last season. Now, if it's reputation based, he has the MVP credentials, you could probably go in that ballpark. But based off of last year, 88 for Cam Newton is absurd. He is not the 6th best quarterback in the NFL, nor should he be the 6th highest rated quarterback in Madden. Going to number 6 is going to be Jordan Howard of the Chicago Bears, who got an 85 overall. Now, everyone knows Jordan Howard is constantly slept on. So, 85, I probably would give him 87, 88, somewhere around that. Jordan Howard is a fringe elite back, can play like an elite back. Sure, he has a knock against him that he can't really catch out of the backfield, kind of limited on third downs a little bit, but that's why they got Tariq Cohen. It's a nice little 1-2 punch. But here are running backs that are rated higher than Jordan Howard. Derrick Henry, who was a backup last season due to Marco Murray and is trying to make his first season as a starter this year and trying to make a successful one. Probably could, but yeah, backup. Tevin Coleman, backup to Devontae Freeman. Dion Lewis, who, not really a backup because he has a niche role in an offense, but technically was a backup running back wasn't a lead back, if you will, in New England. All those guys possess a higher rating than Jordan Howard, a guy who as a rookie had 1,300 rushing yards, was I think second in the league only to Zeke Elliott. He had 1,000 yards last year, really productive between, an inconsistent offensive line, yet he has, those running backs have a higher rating. Not good, not a good look. Going to number 5, it is Jordan Reed, the tight end of the Washington Redskins, who has a 94 overall. Jordan Reed, who hasn't sniffed the field. Jordan Reed, who can't stay healthy. 90, he's a 3rd best tight end in Madden. He should not be higher than Dak Ertz. He should not be higher than Delaney Walker. Absolutely. You can maybe make the case he could be the 5th. He probably shouldn't be higher than Greg Olsen if we're going by guys that haven't touched the field. If we're going for guys that have injuries but their ratings should still stay the same. I would probably put Greg Olsen at Jordan Reed. Now, I do, everyone Eagles fan, I don't like the Redskins, but Jordan Reed's an Eagle. A Gator. A Florida Gator. I like him. Big fan of him. As much as I can be a fan of a guy that's on the Redskins. But the fact that he's 1 point below Travis Kelce, I'm not even going to make it a Zach Ertz comparison, where Zach Ertz clearly was the 3rd best tight end in the league last year. He's 1 point below Kelce. There is a massive gap. It should go Gronk by a considerable amount, Travis Kelce by a considerable amount at number 2, and then kind of Zach Ertz is kind of there, and then almost everyone else. You know what I'm saying? It's a 1-2, and then everyone else kind of rating right now when you're talking about tight ends. 94 for Jordan Reed is absurd. 3rd best. Let that sink in. That makes no sense. Go to number 4, Sean Lee, who is a 96 overall. Again, very similar to Jordan Reed. Cannot stay on the field, cannot stay healthy. And you would assume maybe they give this rating for, the unmeasurable, you've seen the Cowboys defense when he's not on the field, so he must have a high rating. You can't prove it. He's not, if you can't stay on the field, you shouldn't possess that high of a rating. He's the 9th best defender in Madden, but he can't stay healthy whatsoever to save his life. So, I could say Sean Lee, again, kind of like when I'm critiquing guys like Jordan Reed, guys like Tyron Smith. These guys should be elite ratings, should have very good ratings, but not where they're at right now. 9th best defender, Sean Lee, again, for everyone. He's higher than Casey Hayward, guys that are had outstanding years last year. I'm kind of going Madden Cowboys ratings guy on this one. A little bit, just a little bit. Going to number 3 is Micah Hyde of the Buffalo Bills, who got a 92 overall. Now, if we're basing it upon last season's stats, he was outstanding. He pretty much had almost the same kind of stat line as Landon Collins did when he had the breakout year for the Giants. But this is more so a point that they are giving great value for a 1-year performance, a 1-year wonder, if you will. Where, Micah Hyde was a castaway from a very bad Packers secondary. He got, put in that Sean McDermott defense and got everything turned around. But where are all the other guys that had big years last year that ratings kind of fell aside? Carson Wentz, Jared Goff, Those are just two that I pull right away. Those guys are like mid-80s at the best. Those guys were outstanding last year. So if you're going to give massive boost to guys that had just one breakout season, it's incredibly inconsistent across other positional groups. Now, I know safety ratings can be a little wonky at times, but if you've given Micah Hyde a 92, you have got to give Carson Wentz, a guy that was the MVP before he got hurt, a reflective rating in comparison to that. And we'll talk about that in just a second. So, now knowing that, we're going to number 2. We're talking about Chandler Jones. Chandler Jones led the league in sacks. Not a one-year wonder. Last year's video was we were talking about Vic Beasley. Vic Beasley led the league in sacks. We said he was, he's somewhat inconsistent. Didn't have a great year last year. That was the big one because he led the league in sacks and his rating didn't reflect that. Well, Chandler Jones has been a monster since he's been in the league. He is a perennial Pro Bowler, an All-Pro. He led the league in sacks by, I think he had 17.5. He's an 89 overall. So, I mean, even just the comparison. Chandler Jones led the league in sacks, 89. Sean Lee, 96. Can't stay healthy. That's a little discrepancy. You know who else is an 89 overall? Jabal Sheard. Give you $5 if you know what team he plays for. There you go. He's also a defensive end from the Indianapolis Colts. And the thing that makes this even more surprising is Jabal Sheard held that 89. He had a really high rating, slightly inflated last year. Is the Colts are changing schemes. So he got that 89 as a 3-4 outside linebacker. Now they're switching to a 4-3 end, and he still has that really high rating. Last year, a lot of the ratings that were kind of wonky, people could say, well, I remember Jonathan Allen for the Redskins, his rookie rating was because he was playing defensive end. If you moved to D tackle, his rating shot up. So it's like scheme things. So why is Jabal Sheard has the same rating in a different scheme as the leading sack getter in the league? Makes no sense beyond me. I do not understand that whatsoever, why Chandler Jones has the same rating as Jabal Sheard. There you go. And finishing up at number 1, it's Carson Wentz, 86. 86 is completely unacceptable for Carson Wentz. He should be an 88, 89. I wouldn't put him in the 90. We know Matt Ryan was the 5th best quarterback. He made that list. He was an 89. I could say, all right, Carson Wentz had one big year. We can't overreact. We can't overinflate his rating. But 86 is far too low for a guy that, without a doubt, would have won the MVP if he didn't go down. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, doesn't matter. 86 is disrespectful to Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz, 87 at minimum. I would probably cap it at 90. I'd put him between there, 88, 89. It's not biased at all. He was the MVP last year. He led the Eagles to the playoffs. He's the reason why the Eagles got to where he's a massive reason why the Eagles won the Super Bowl. Where's that importance? Where does that get reflected on the ratings? We don't see it. So those are my top 10 worst ratings. If you guys want to know any other ratings, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll try to get back to you. If you agree or disagree with these ratings, if you've seen them yourselves, let me know in the comment section below. As always, if you're first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button because Madden 19 season is going to be on fire here on the channel. And that does it for me today, guys. Thank you for watching, and peace out.